Hello, Professor Rosemary here and welcome to my lab. With the Lunar New Year coming up and Legend ZA floating around in the distance, I think it's the perfect time to make a Zygarde themed recipe to celebrate the Year of the Snake. And it just so happens that I've been obsessed with a particularly thematic ingredient that I've been wanting to challenge myself with, the real-life counterpart to the salak berry. I think this fruit is pretty dang cool and the world needs to know. So with that said, let's get making. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. The snake fruit, or salak, looks like a fig wearing a reptile's skin, found in tropical Southeast Asian countries like here in Malaysia. The fruit of a species of palm tree, it's scaly, it's firm, slightly leathery, and when you hold it to your nose, you get the wonderful aroma of, wait for it, noxious body odor. Like literally someone that hasn't bathed in a few days. The first time I smelled one up close, I recoiled so fast I swear I outsped Reggie. But once you get past the skin, being careful not to prick yourself on the pointed scales, you'll be met with 3 segments of cream-colored flesh, with each of the big ones holding a hard seed. Now I could never imagine how a chesto berry could taste dry, that is, until I bit into a salak, because the flesh has a crisp crunch and a dry texture. And the flavor, interestingly, is the complete opposite of what the skin smelled like. For me, it's a very fragrant, albeit gentle tropical bouquet, with a distinct strawberry-like sweetness, the tartness of red apples, and a floral funk that I can't exactly pinpoint. It's unique is what it is. It's reported that different salak cultivars have vast differences in flavors, but I'm happy with what I can get. So now that we know what we're working with, the next question is, how do we incorporate this flavor in a recipe? I chose to make a drink for today's recipe because I realized that the flavors of the salak are rather shy and are easily outshined by other flavors. So I'm keeping things simple to let the funky tropical bouquet shine. And that's why by turning the fruit into a syrup, I have a form of clean, concentrated salak flavor. My first attempt with the salak syrup was to simply blend the flesh with sugar. But this is where I've learned that salaks don't contain that much juice. I ended up adding in some water to turn this salak paste into somewhat of a syrup. The resulting syrup had the salak aromas, but it was way too watered down. And even if I strain out the pulp, I'd get a cloudy syrup, which is not what we want today. Attempt number 2 involved heating the salak and sugar over a stovetop, cooking it gently until all the moisture is drawn out. Learning from the first attempt, I chose to include some green apples to supply additional juice, playing with the apple notes already present in the salak. The green apple's tartness balances very well with the natural sweetness of the salak too. In the end, for this cooked syrup, the flavor concentration was really good and would work well in flavoring a drink. However, the delicate tropical nuances of the salak are lost to the heat, and the syrup simply tasted like apple jam. Well, I guess third time's a charm because after attempt 3 working out wonderfully, I feel like I have it nailed down after a few test runs. Before we get into the syrup making, allow me to walk you through how I prepared the salak. After peeling, I ran my knife around the segment like you would an avocado. This allows me to access and pop out the seed. I then chopped and plopped the fresh into a saltwater bath to keep them from browning. Oh, and a quick tip. If you're blazing through a amount of snake fruits like me, I found that soaking them in water for 10 minutes softens the skins and makes it a lot easier to peel them. This also helps to prevent the jagged scales from cutting your fingers as you peel them. Once I rinsed and drained my salak flesh, for every 1 part by weight of salak, I'm gently mixing it with 1 part by weight of sugar and 0.5 parts by weight of green apples. This method of syrup making is called maceration, where we allow the sugar to naturally draw out the water from the fruits, extracting the flavors in the process. The fruits are thinly sliced to maximize surface area, speeding up the water extraction. I'm also adding 0.05 parts by weight of lime zest to further enhance the tropical qualities of the salak. After a good mix, all of this goes into a clean container, along with whatever liquid and undissolved sugar is in the bowl. Now we just let time work its magic, allowing the syrup to sit at room temperature for a few days until all of the sugar has dissolved, though 1 quick stir a day does help to speed things along. This resulting syrup has good clarity and flavor concentration. Since no heat was used, the unique flavors of the salak are preserved, taking center stage in this serpentine drink. For an even clearer syrup, I opted to pass the syrup through some coffee filters, though this optional step can get a bit lengthy and tedious. Also, side note, I had an attempt 4 where I tried fermenting the snake fruit before macerating it. The flavor was really funky in a good way, but I wanted to showcase the original flavor of the fruit today. Now that the star ingredient of our recipe is ready, we can get to making the rest of the drink. I'm making some mochi pearls with shiratamako to go with the drink to reference how Zygarde is made out of tiny little cells. I chose shiratamako over tapioca starch because after some testing, I found that mochi pearls were much less finicky to get right and they retain details much better. Tapioca pearls do win out in terms of chewiness, but I think this is a fair trade-off for aesthetics. And to make the Zygarde reference clearer, I drew on a Zygarde motif on my glass before pouring in some of our salak syrup, diluted with water, which you can swap out for soda water, bolstered with some fresh lime juice, and our little Zygarde cells. Finally, to add a bit more green to the drink, I'm whipping up a bit of matcha with a more gentle profile to add more complexity and visual interest to the drink. And with that, we are done! So there you have it, a fruity Zygarde salad drink, made up of chewy Zygarde cells and a thematically fitting serpentine fruit. I'm quite proud of this recipe, because I felt like I captured the essence of the salad quite well and made a pretty interesting drink with it. So that's all for now. Subscribe if you've made it this far, try a snake fruit if you get the chance, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.